explore. Why? Because we are going to write like super classes in which we will write the business logic, and we will never allow the business logic directly to the client. Coming to C and other programming procedure-oriented languages, there is no security. Every program is public. Anybody can open. Anybody can see the entire logic. Architectural neutral. It's nothing but, suppose if you write a Java program in one machine, okay, you can compile it anywhere and any number of times. You have created your system, your application in one environment. You can compile it any number of times. You can execute it in any mission, any time, any number of times. That is called as architectural neutral. Java is portable. See, because of dot class file, when you compile your Java program, you are going to get a file type called as dot class file, which is called as a bytecode. This bytecode is more flexible to move from one machine to another machine rather than your exe file. So Java is more portable than the other programming language. And Java's performance is good. Why? Because here everything is dynamic in nature. So we are going to work with most of the time the object. Okay. So compared to working with like a static data type, if you are working with the object, they will respond very fast compared with the static data type and static programming languages. So in Java, everything is inside everything is like a pointer. Every object is treated like a pointer. Dynamically it gets created, dynamically it gets dispersed. So obviously the performance and the response time will be very less, and it is more dynamic than the other programming languages. And the main other feature is multi-threaded programming language. So multi-threaded is nothing but, so it is making our program into like lightweight processor. Suppose I'll give one small example, like consider your server-side application. Okay, you have written some Java program at server, and this is a client program which is requesting your server. Okay, when one client is requested to process something by this program, so it is under execution and it is processing your logic, and finally it will produce a response. By the time it is processing, if one more client is trying to access the same program, okay. So in earlier programming languages, they are all process based. Process based means if one process is under execution, all the others have to wait. Okay. Now in thread based programming system, okay, if even one process is under execution, one program is under execution, even the other client can access it, can perform the logic, can get back some response. Even the some other client, like number of threads can be created. All these things are called as a thread. Thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, thread 4. Like number of threads can be created, and they all work in a lightweight fashion. And there is no conflict between the thread and thread. Every thread simultaneously get executed and get processed by your application. And here your programming is done within your Java syntax. So Java supports multi-threaded programming concept, which makes your applications lightweight and which allows the programs to be executed concurrently. Okay, that programming concept is called as multi-threaded. Let us say for in your banking application, there will be one server program. There is a single program in which we will be having some two threads. One thread will be allowing you to do some like deposit, and another thread will be allowing you to do like withdrawal. Means at the same time you are able to perform these two logics, like that is deposit logic and withdrawal logic. Deposit logic and as well as withdrawal logic, both are working under the principle called thread. This is called as multi-threaded programming system. And why Java is dynamic? Dynamic is everything is in Java like a object. So it is making your application more dynamic. So the same thing is explained. You can go through this PPT. I am going to share this PPT to you. So like simple, object-oriented, distributed, so each and everything is explained here. And next is to start working with our Java programming language. What are all the tools will be helpful? Like coming to core Java, we don't require all these IDE tools. But when we start with like advanced Java, for user convenience, many things are integrated, and most of the job is done by the IDE tools. and most of the clients they prefer to working with this type of IDE tools, like it may be NetBeans, Eclipse. Okay, any one of these things we can choose for our application development. And next is what is the basic syntax of a Java programming language. Before that, let me know your comfortability in your language fundamentals, all of you, because language, if you are all comfortable, we can skip these kind of things like expressions, statements, data types, control structures, and all. Or else we will discuss. What about Veena? All are comfortable with the language basics, or we will discuss?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the basic stuff.
I'm also comfortable. I have no experience.
Like this kind of things, expressions.
I'm not. I have no experience in programming.
Okay.
No, I have no idea about all those things.
You are aware. If anybody is not comfortable, let me know so that we will discuss these topics.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Hello.
I have no idea about all those basics. Experience here.
Okay, no problem.
Not yet, yeah.
I don't know, your voice is again low now.
And now, before that, let me also start with what is Java, how to install the Java and all. Okay. See here, the Java software is I am going to share in my system. This is Java installation file. First of all, you have to install this. Able to see? See, this is JDK 6 or JDK 7. Any one of this installation file you need to first install. Once it is installed into your machine, you need to just double click and you need to follow certain steps like next. Once you install that, you will be getting a folder here called Java in your program file. Okay, so in C program file, you will be getting a Java folder in which you will be getting two folders, subfolders. One is called JDK, one is called JRE. It means in Java programming language, in Java software, there are mainly two parts. Okay, so the two parts is, first thing is, it is like a JDK, Java compiler. And the second part is called as JRE. Okay, see here we are able to see two folders in our Java folder, like JDK and JRE. So the same thing here. This is called as JDK and this is called as your JRE. Why it is divided into two parts means, see, the first part is JDK. Means when you write a .java file, when you write a source code here, first it gets compiled and it is going to create a .class file. Means this part is called as compilation. Only compilation has taken place in your JDK. Okay, this is the role of your JDK. Just it compiles, it generates a .class file, it starts with finish. Now the thing is, we need a runtime environment to execute our program. Means we need another set of software which is going to execute your .class file, which takes your .class file as an input and which will perform some certain steps on that and it will finally provide the result. That software is called a runtime environment. So to start development with Java, we need these two software, and these two are available like a bundle in your Java software. Okay, like that is called as JRE, JDK and JRE. Now, in this first, JDK is just compiles and creates a .class file. In JRE, there are different components. Like first one is called as class loader. The role of this class loader is nothing but, if we look into the classes available here, we may put multiple classes to execute by your JRE. So it will keep track of all the classes here, and it will identify the class which has to be executed first, and it will load that class first. That process is called as class loader. And next is here, when you execute your Java program, it may need certain number of libraries, certain number of APIs, and some other predefined things. That is also a bundle of files that also get combined for with your dot class file for execution. So that libraries are also part of your JRE. Now, here the main thing called as interpreter. Java interpreter, which is a Java execution engine, which is also called as JVM, Java Virtual Machine. This is the main thing which is responsible for execution of your Java program, which is a part of your JRE. And this will look into your dot class file which is loaded, and will look into the number of libraries required, and it will look into your program, and it starts interpretation, not compilation. And while it is interpreting, internally it will also interact with your hardware of the system, and as well as your operating system, and then it finally provides the result. Okay, and sometimes here there is also a compiler called as a small compiler called as a JIT compiler, just in time compiler. Sometimes in interviews you may get a question like, within JRE will there be any Java compiler? Yes, there is another Java compiler which is called as a JIT compiler, and this is useful when you are executing your Java program. At runtime, if you are going to take any input, if any compilation is required, this will do that compilation. The basic .java file is compiled here, but any kind of runtime compilation is required, this compiler will do. This is also part of your JRE. So here JDK is a compilation, JRE is for execution. Clear all of you?
Yep. Yeah, we're good. It's clear. We got it.
So this JDK and JRE, this we can upload here in our Java folder. JDK is a compilation which is all the tools we require for compilation. Here in this folder we will be having certain tools like Java, Java C and all. They are all responsible for only for compilation. And there is another folder we have JRE. This is all for execution. Like libraries, Java libraries are available here, and many APIs will be available here. Many other tools are available, and JVM is also part of this. Class loader also is part of this. Big compiler is also part of this. Okay. This is about our Java software. Once this is installed, so every time we will be getting our Java software into our My Computer C drive program files. By default, every time whenever you install, it will be created like this. Once it is done, when you are going to start with your Java program, okay, so you need to say that my Java software is available in so and so directory. It means, suppose you wanted to start with like your Java program in D drive, let us. If you are working with D drive and your Java software is somewhere here, so there is no connectivity here. Okay, so we must point out that this is my working directory, but my Java software is here. It means you have to set like path equal to, every time you should say your complete path of your Java software, JDK software. Instead of setting every time whenever you are log into this system, we can set this path globally. Okay, so how to set this global path is nothing but, first of all, we need this bin. Till this bin in JDK folder, remember bin, till that bin you copy this path. This is called as your Java path. Means where exactly all Java tools are available. And whenever you wanted to work with Java program, you need this tool. So you have to refer to this folder every time. So how to refer means we have to create a global path variable. Where to create means, on your My Computer icon, right click, properties, okay, go to advanced system settings, go to environment variables, and here there will be a path variable. Okay, so usually path is assigned for each and every software which is running in our system. So almost there will be a path for Oracle and any other servers we are going to use. See here, whatever the other paths are already existing, keep it as it is, and then you give like semicolon. Now you paste the path. The path is same thing what we copied over there. C program file from here to here. C program file. Okay, Java, JDK, Bin. Up to this you have to copy it, and then you should click OK, OK, and so on. This is what is your path for your JDK. This is already there in my machine. Okay. Earlier I have given, so it is there already. C program file Java JDK and still bin. Then you click on OK, then click on OK. It means you are referring that every time this is my Java software folder. Once it is available, and you just close it and open the command prompt and go to any drive, maybe C drive, maybe D drive, anywhere. If you give Java C, it has to recognize. This is a Java compilation command. So suppose if I go to like E drive, there also F drive, there also you can check it Java C. Means once the Java path is assigned here in your global environment variable, you are able to work anywhere in any subdirectory and any drive. If you don't set the path variable here, every time you need to set it here whenever you log into the system. Okay, for that reason, we will set it here once so that you can work anytime, anytime. Clear, Deepesh?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. So this is what is called as path setting. So you have installed the Java software and you have set the path. Now you start working with Java. You can create your Java program anywhere in your machine. So today just we will see like hello world Java program. What is the structure and how a Java program is. Okay. See, coming to structure of a Java program, the first line of a Java program should be always a package statement. What is package? We will see later again. Okay. So if at all, if package is there, that should be the first line in your program. And next place is for import statement. If at all, if our program is having any predefined packages, so let us say in C, we will be using hash include stdio.h. Likewise in Java also there are predefined packages. If we need some packages, we have to import them. Okay, if there are multiple packages required, multiple libraries are required, you can import multiple. But that should be given after package statement. The third place of our Java program is interface declaration. If at all any interface is there, what is an interface we will see later. That should be given first. Then the fourth place is our class. Okay, see, this is our program. Usually every time we will begin with class only, because these are all optional things we will be doing in the coming program. Okay, so this order you have to maintain. First package, then import, then interface, then class. And there may be multiple classes within a program. Okay. Now we are not going to discuss with these concepts. We will just doing with hello world program. So you forget about that. So I am going to comment that. Okay. This is all you forget, but you just remember the order. And this is a comment you can use in your Java like multi-line comment. If it is a single line comment, you can use like this is a single line comment. Clear? Now let us start with a Java program. And now whenever you start any Java program, you need to start with a class. Class is a keyword, and this is your program name. And program name can be anything, which is also a class name. And now every class should have begin and end. Whatever you write in your program should be inside this block only. You cannot write anything outside of your class in Java. Everything should be inside a class. Okay. Now you wanted to just print a hello message. See, in C program, where the execution starts from main method, right? In the same way, Java also there is a main function from where exactly the program execution starts. So that signature means the syntax of that is public static void main and string R. Always this is the signature we have to follow. And what is the significance of this line? I will tell you. And this is also a function, so it should have its own begin end and it should be inside your class. Done. Now if you wanted to print a message called hello world, you just print system.out.println of okay. Simply you wanted to print this message. To print this message in Java, we have a predefined class here. Like system is a predefined class. Like in C programming language, we will use printf, right? But here we need to write system is a class, out is a variable of the system class, println is a method or a function of the system class to print any message. Whatever you wanted to print anything in a Java at the console, you need to write in system.out.println. This is mandatory. Okay, and execution starts from this main function. Always main function is called by your JVM. I said JVM, right? This JVM first will look into in your class file is loaded here. In this class file, first it will look into where is the main method. Like it is the main method. So first it starts execution from here. It comes here, and it look into all the statements here and it looks here. So JVM is an external tool which has to access this main function, so it should be public. If it is not given as a public, JVM cannot access this function, so it should be public always. Next, if anything is inside a class, suppose we are writing a main function inside a class, so it should be static type so that it is accessed, it can access it directly. If it is not static type, JVM cannot access this function. So what is static we will see in depth in the coming session. Okay, it should be static. When it is static only, JVM external things can access it directly without the use of any object. Okay, void. So always if the function is not returning any value here, it should be of void. Means JVM is calling your main function and this function will never return anything back to the JVM. So it should be void type. This is mandatory. And the function name is selected here also as a main, just like in any other programming language, its name is given as a main. And what is this string or certain? When you are going to compile your program at command prompt, from the command prompt, you can send some values to your program as an input. When you want to give some input, so that inputs are stored in this array and can be used in your program. So they are called as command line arguments. And that argument data type in Java is always string. It will not accept any other objects like double, float, char, or integer. That kind of values it will not accept. So data type should be string mandatorily, so it is given as string. And this is our program name called hello. It means you need to save your program with a name called hello.java. Extension you need to mandatorily give Java. And class is a keyword used for your program to create a program. Now we are going to save this, save as, okay. Always give the only class name, not any other name. Whatever class name you choose here, that same name you have to give for the program, and save it wherever you wanted to run your program. So and save it in D drive. Now if you go to D drive and check, here is a program called hello.java. Now first of all, in Java we have the tools called to run our program and to compile our program. To compile the program command is javac space class name.java. This is for compilation. And execution is only Java and class. This is for run. And Java C is nothing but a tool. Java is nothing but a tool which is available in your bin folder. See here, you can see in bin folder, Java, JDK, bin. There is a Java C is a tool for compilation. Java is a tool for execution. Like these are all predefined things. The same thing we are going to use here. Okay. Now let us compile our program. First, the compiler will look into any type of syntactical error, anything is missing here. Let's say I'll say something like small letter and I'll forget to give semicolon. So immediately the compiler has to check for the syntactical error. There is semicolon expected. So I have given semicolon. Again I am compiling. Okay, still it is showing that the package system does not exist. This system does not exist. So make it like after. Now if you compile, it will compile. Done. And then you execute it by using Java space class name. Now it has to show the output of your program called that message. Okay, only the few things you have to remember. Okay, how to set the class path and what is the structure of a Java program and how to write a program and how to compile it and run. Okay, in the same program I'll do some modifications. Even we can do some arithmetic statements just like whatever we do in C program. So if you are able to do like the C programs, any logic you can do here. See here we cannot give comma. Always we should concatenate the thing. So plus symbol you have to give. Now let us see. Again I am compiling text. Like any kind of basic logics you can do. Like if you are aware of control structures and all, you can practice that if condition, for condition, while condition, that kind of statement. And just now I am saying that command and arguments, right? So what is command and argument and how to access it? So up to this clear all of you? Following any difficulty? On Deepesh, Sriram and Dina? Any queries on this?
Yeah, this is Dipesh. I'm good so far, man.
Okay. What about Sriram, Subhash and Dina? Following? Proceed to the next topic.
Yeah. We can go to next topic.
Okay. So this is like simple hello program, right? Now we'll write another program in which we will take some command line arguments as an input. I'm going to give a program name as C or and here I wanted to give the name and address from command line. Okay, so string is a predefined class in Java. Anything we can store in a string. String s1 equal to args of 0 means first argument what we pass. String s2 equal to args of 1 second argument what we pass. So here simply we can say that I'm going to give name in args1 and address in args2. So I can give like this. Okay, simply save it and save always. Okay, just save as. Give here. What is our class name now? Arg, right? C arg dot Java. Whenever you change the class name, you need to save it. Okay, now we are going to compile it. C arg dot Java. Once it is compiled, there is no syntactical errors in our program, but it is expecting 2 arguments. Means we need to pass 2 arguments as an input. So how to execute means when you are going to execute, this is our execution command, right? Java space class name. Now you need to pass 2 inputs like A, B, C. Okay. first argument you are going to pass after this command like Java space file name. First argument will be your first argument called args of 0 space. Whenever space is there, it will consider as a new argument. Args of 1 will be the second argument. Like if you are going to add many number of arguments here, so you can specify that many number of things. So I have given ABC in India. So first it will store args of 0 in S1, args of 1 in S2, and that it is going to print it here. If I wanted to pass some runtime values, I wanted to keep on saying the value. Okay, I can change the value. This is called as command line argument. And here we can still reduce the program length. Instead of storing that into S1 and S2, here itself we can give args of 0. Here itself we can give args of 1. Okay, this is also possible. Again, whenever any changes in the source code, you need to recompile, then you need to rewrite the value. So always whatever we pass from this command line, these are called as command line argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, like array of values you can pass. All the values are always stored in this data type R. And remember, this array name can be anything. For naming convention, we are giving as R, but it can be anything. Save it, recompile, and execute with some other value. Okay. And in the same command line argument, suppose if I wanted to pass some numbers and I wanted to add. See here I am able to do characters, means like name, address or any other thing, and I am able to print it. Fine. But if at all I wanted to take some numbers and I wanted to add 2 numbers, so then we cannot add directly strings because strings will not have any numerical value. So first I wanted to take a number A, number B. So number A is args of 0, but this is a string, right? We cannot do any calculation with that. So we have to do here conversion. So in Java we have a method, we have a library function called parseInt, which will convert a string into integer. Don't get confusion with this integer.parse. It is a predefined thing like a library function, which will convert your string into integer, then it will be stored in an integer. In the same way, here we change the array name, so we should change the array name here. First argument is also converted, second is also converted. Now nicely we can do sum equal to, like within bracket A plus B. Again recompile. Okay. Here also A and here also A, right? So we should change the array name something different. Duplicate happened here. Now you can give now 2 numbers. Directly it will not accept numbers, but it will be first stored as a string, then it will be converted and then added. Likewise in Java we have a flexibility that strings can be converted into integer, strings can be converted into float, can be converted into double, and the required type. So this is what a simple Java programming in which we are doing like hello world program and simply implementing some message, performing some simple arithmetic operation, and working with command line also. And let us move with the language fundamentals. Means language basics means when we write a program, see, this is all different kinds of statements we have, like a data declaration statements, arithmetic statements, input output statements, control statements, like different sets of statements in there. So what are all the different kind of statements are there, and what are all the expressions, and what are all the constants, variables. So this is all comes under language basics. Okay. So usually whatever we have seen in our C and C++, many things are same things like in Java. Language basics are same. Okay. Expressions and statements. Statements are nothing but every line of a program is called as a statement. Whatever you write in your program is called as a statement, and every statement should end with semicolon. Okay. Expression means whenever you give some any kind of like expression, like this arithmetic expression, logical expression, whatever it is, it comes under some expression. And here keywords. So keywords, for every programming language there will be a certain set of keywords. Keywords are nothing but, so we cannot disturb the purpose of this keyword. Means in Java, like in a programming language, system is reserved for a particular purpose. A class is reserved for a particular purpose. Public is reserved for a particular purpose. All these are keywords. Okay, we have to, once if we come across with the language basics and language fundamentals, we will be knowing what are all the keywords available in Java. So we should use those keywords only for the purpose for which it is defined. We can't use that keyword for any other purpose. So those many number of words are called as keywords. Just you must have a look on this and you can remember like what are all the keywords are available. Almost many things are same like C. Few things are added. And next is variable. As we know, every data item what we declare here and in which we can store any item, any value, and whose value can be varied due to program execution is called as a variable. A is there. A one time we can store some number, another time when you execute you can store some other number. So you can keep on changing its value. So those kind of things are called as variables. And next is variable initialization. Whenever you declare at the time itself you will give some startup value, and it is called as initialization. It means here when you declare like integer C, first initially you can store something into that C. Later you can say that C equal to A plus B. So this C equal to A plus B is called expression. C equal to 0 is called as initialization. Initializing means as soon as you declare, you are giving some sort of value, so which is called as initialization. Scope means, suppose if you are going to declare some different kind of variables here, okay, so there will be a scope. Means suppose if you declare something integer A equal to something here, its scope will be within the block in which you declare. Means inside the main method it is declared, so which is applicable and its scope will be up to main method only. If we have one more function here, let us say in my class I can have another function called show, public void show. This is a different function. There is some other different function void this. If there are multiple functions in our class, okay, whichever thing, suppose here I had declared integer x, here I declared integer y. So now x will become local to the function in which declare, y will become local to the function in which we declare. They cannot be used outside of that. So that decides the scope of the variable. Scope. What are all the different scopes we will discuss in detail. Local variable, class variable, instance variable. What is class and instance we will discuss in this concept. Now you will not understand this. What is class and what is instance. Local you can understand. Local is nothing but local to the function in which you declare. Suppose this is the body of your function. Inside that if you declare something which will become local. You can't access it outside of that. Something is declared inside a main means it will become local to the main. Data type. Like we have primitive types and reference types. Primitive means in Java, remember, the Java supports 8 primitive data types. References means objects. Objects are many types, but primitives are, first is byte data type, short data type, okay, int data type, float data type, long data type, double data type. These are all number type. All are numbers only with different ranges and different memory capacity. And we have Boolean data type, and we have char data type. These are all the 8 types we have. All are called as primitive data types. And references means object. What is object? We will see in object orientation concept. See, primitive data types are like Boolean, char, byte, short. These are all the types. And if you declare something like a Boolean in your program, or something like int, something like float or double or byte, how much memory it occupies, each variable is given that. What is the lowest value? What is the highest value? You can assign the value within this range. You cannot give outside of that. And the number of memory bytes occupied by each data type is Boolean is 1 bit, true or false, 1 or 0. Char 16 bits means 2 bytes. Byte means 1 byte of value. Like this is a memory requirement. Variable assignment. If something value is assigned to a variable, it is called as an assignment. Like this is nothing but variable assignment. C equal to A plus B, A equal to something, B equal to something. Whenever you do equal to and assign something, it is called as an assignment. Data type, like int x equal to 42, float y equal to something. Suppose in your program, you are saying that byte a equal to 10. So byte range is here, remember, in this table, minus 128 to plus 128. If you want higher range value, go for short, up to 32,000. If you want integer, up to this value and so on. Like that, you have to keep in mind what is the range of value you require. Integer, b equal to some number. Okay, and then float. Float in Java always you have to give like some value and you have to give a suffix called f. Then only it is treated like a float. Then you wanted to give long. Long d equal to some number. Like L you can give capital L or small l, or else you can give leave it. And then double. Double something e equal to some number, point some number. Highest numerical value will be double. And then like char data type. Char like something equal to a single character it can store. And Boolean something equal to, you can say true or false. Like this you can declare all the data types. Type conversion means nothing but, suppose if we have these many types, we have like byte, float, char, all are numbers only, right? If something we are getting like double, is it possible to convert into long, float, int, short, and byte? Yes, it is possible. If something is in byte, can it convert it into like this type? Both the ways we can convert it. Like if it is lower range to higher range, you can convert. Higher range to lower range, you can convert. Both the conversions are possible. So that is called as typecasting, type conversion. The byte, short, int, long, float, double. This is the lowest, this is the highest. If required, we can convert from byte to double or else double to byte. Both is possible. This is called as widening, this is called as narrowing. How it can be converted, we'll see. See, following all of you?
Yeah, I'm following. Yeah, I got it.
See, here we'll do some small example on typecasting. That's the demo. Let say here I am declaring something like int x is equal to 10. Now I can convert a double y equal to x. You can print x value as well as give some space, and then you can print y value. Y is a double value now, this is an integer value, right? This is an integer, this is a double. We are able to convert an integer into double, right? 5, 7. Again, see 10 is first it was an integer. Now we are able to convert 10 into a double value. So now it will become a double, which is called as an implicit typecast. Implicit. Now in the same thing, I have a double variable first. Double b equal to some number. Okay. And I wanted to convert double into integer now. I need to specify like this. Explicit typecast. Okay. So when it is explicit, you need to mention into which you are going to convert. When it is implicit, you need not mention. See here you also. Okay. When you are explicitly converting, it will round off your floating point value. Clear? It means though it is declared some different data types, it is possible that to convert from one type to another type. Okay, that is called as typecasting. When you are converting from lower range to higher range, which is called as widening, when you are performing widening, it is not required to specify into which you are going to convert. Directly you can assign. Double y assigns to x, that's it. It gets converted into double y. But when you are coming from higher range to lower range, okay, you need to specify explicitly like this. So which is called as an explicit typecast. So not only for integer and double, between any other data types we can do that. Like a long to byte, okay, like float to short, any other two types we can perform. That is called as widening, and this is what is explained here. Implicit and explicit typecasting you can do. Reference casting is nothing but the same kind of casting between the objects is also possible. Like further, when we are working with the classes and the objects, when we are going to work with like super classes and subclasses, okay. Now it is also possible that you can convert from superclass type to subclass to superclass. That is also possible. That comes under reference class. And the different types of operators used in Java, like arithmetic operators, plus, minus, slash, star, okay, percentage. This is all comes under like to perform like addition, subtraction, multiplication. Assignment operator. Suppose you wanted to assign something single equal to within this, and there are certain operators called, okay, for which I will give you the programs so directly you can execute those to perform increment, decrement, okay, and auto post increment, C increment, and this is all the assignment operators. Plus equal to, minus equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. These are all relational operators. And like logical operators. There is some two numbers given with you. You wanted to perform logical AND operation. Means if all the digits of your numbers are 1, the output will be 1. If any one is 0, the output will be 0. Likewise, you can perform logical AND, logical OR, logical exclusive OR. Okay, like these kind of operations also can perform in Java. Bitwise operation. And this is called as operator precedence. It means why this precedence has to be followed means if a single expression is containing, like I have z equal to x plus y minus 20 into some other number divided by some other number again plus something else is like we should follow certain standard order so that we will get a proper value. It means operator precedence should be maintained. What is the first precedence should be given for our operator? So for every language there is a precedence, means there is an order. Compiler will follow this order, so we should also consider the same order for our expression evaluation. Accordingly, we should expect our result. If there is no proper order, one time this may be evaluated first, another time this may be evaluated first, we will be getting different answers. That is not correct. So we have to follow some operator precedence. That is standardized when the language is different. Flow of the control, then I will teach you because Deepesh was saying that he is not comfortable with the control statement. We will discuss. So usually when we don't write any conditional statement, the order of your program execution starts from begin and end. But if at all if you want to control your program and logic, we should add certain conditional and control statements. If you add certain conditional statements in your program, you can have a condition based on the output of the condition. You can control your flow. You may skip certain number of statements. You may execute certain number of statements repeatedly. So that is your wish. However, you form a condition in the same way you can control your program. Those kind of statements are called as flow, are conditional and control statements. That is what we are going to do. In which we have like a sequential flow and then like looping statements. Okay, we have like multiple conditional statements. There are different types of statements. This one by one. And before that, because each and every program is not possible to execute in our session, I'll give you some programs so that you can practice it. So these are all basic, like how to work with operators. Okay, how to work with like simple if condition, for condition, while condition, increment, decrement operator. Okay, conversion, how to work. Likewise, programs are like there is one byte, integer, and double. How to convert from integer to byte, integer to like double to integer. Likewise, some programs are there. You can go through this program, and any doubts you can share me in the next comment. Okay. Likewise, like n number of programs are there, I'll give you that. End of our session, I will share all these examples. This is all while, and then array we will discuss later once flow is complete. Let us start with control check. See, if there is two numbers with you, integer x and integer y, you wanted to check which is the biggest of two numbers. Simply you have to give if is a syntax for conditional statement, and if x is greater than y, then the statement is executed. Okay. Else, if that condition fails, it immediately comes to else part and it executes this part. This is called as conditional statement. Means at any condition, it can execute only one set of statements. You will be having first a condition. Okay, this is the flow of your program. The condition is checked. If it is true, one set of statements you will execute and you will come out. If it is false, okay, it comes to else part and it executes certain statements here. It may be single statement, multiple statements, and it will come out. This is called as if conditional statement. Okay. It means first you are checking the condition. If this is true, it will come here and it will execute this and it will skip this else part. If it is false, it will skip this part and it directly comes to the else part and it will execute. Any one will be executed. Okay. You need to save it. Okay. Y is big. If I change the value here, okay, again I compile, run it, okay. So these conditional statements are useful for most of the time to check some values for a given variable. Let us say in employee, you wanted to check department code, you wanted to check the salary range, you wanted to check the employee name. So any type of conditional checking is required, we will go with the if conditional checking. In if, we can have also logical operators. Like if there are one more variable, like you wanted to find biggest of 3 numbers, then you can add here logical add. X is greater than y and x is greater than z. Both are true. Then only we can say x is big. And another condition is y is greater than x and y is greater than z. Then y is big. In the same way, there is one more condition. Z is greater than x and z is greater than y. Then z is big. Likewise, we can use logical operators. If x is greater than the other two numbers, x is big. Y is greater than the other two numbers, y is big. Z is greater than the other two numbers, z is big. So accordingly, we can add the logical operators along with the condition. If you change the values, you can get the different value. And in the if condition itself, suppose in one condition there is, this is one type, and the other type is, let us say you wanted to nest one within another. X is greater than y, that is true, means x is big. Now you wanted to nest the condition one within another. You want to also check that if x is greater than z, then you want to say x is big. Let us say x is greater than y, but x is not greater than z. Who will be great? Who will be big? Z will be big. So you can say that you have to properly nest it. This else is for inner if cap. Then you are closing the outer if state over. Now, if the outer condition means this condition itself is failed, means x is not greater than y, means y will be greater. Immediately it will come to else part, begins here, and now you have to check if y is also greater than z. If it is greater, okay, y will be big. Else means y is greater than x, but y is not greater than z, means z will be big. So else, this else is for this inner if, okay, then you can say that z is big. And you close this else part like this. So likewise, whenever some multiple statements comes, we can make it like a block of statements. Put it in a begin end so that we can make it as a compound state. Okay, you can solve the same problem like biggest of 3 numbers either by using logical operators or by using this nesting of this conditional state. This is an outer if and this is an inner if. Likewise, whenever it is required, any number of if conditional statements can be embedded in the other if conditional statement. This is called as nested if. So most of the time this if conditional statements are used to like solve the complex conditional statement. Let us say in your employee program, first you need to check the employee department. Once if you validate your employee department, based on the department code you wanted to check for designation. Once designation is checked, and then you wanted to check for the salary. So then one within another you can keep on adding the if conditional statement. So most of the time this if conditional statement is used for checking some conditions and based on controlling your program, whether to skip certain statements or whether to execute certain statements. Whenever it is true, else part is ignored. Whenever it is false, okay, before else whatever is there, that part is ignored. So in if conditional statement, I will be sharing you some examples so that you can practice. In the same folder, you will be having some if else, okay, some conditional statements will be there, simple if else. These things you can practice. Some relational operators. This is nothing but you wanted to check whether greater, less, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. This is all you can practice. Equal to, not equal. Feel any difficulty? Let me know. And shift operator. This is like bitwise shift operator. See, suppose you are storing integer x equal to 12. Okay. Now 12 will be converted into your binary value, and then if you wanted to shift that binary number 2 digits right side, 2 digits left side, you can perform with this shift operator. Suppose you have a number with like 101. Okay, so you can shift it 2 times right side so that this digit and this digit will be removed, and you will be getting 0 and 0 and 1. This is the output of this number if it is shift right 2 times. If it is shift left 2 times, then it will be the value like 133. So however you require, you can shift it and you can make use of that application. That is shift right and shift. So you can go through this application and you can run it and any doubts let me. And when you are shift right, if you wanted to fill with zeros, and then you can use 3 greater than symbol, 3 less than symbol. And also increment decrement. It's nothing but if you store some number here in x 10, y 20. Plus x is nothing but always it is called as pre-increment. Means first it get incremented and its value will be printed. So you will get the value here as 11. Post increment means the incrementation will happen after this execution complete. Means here you will be getting its value as 20 only, but in the next line it get affected as 21. That is called as post increment and pre increment. If you want that incrementation process before, you go for pre increment or else post. In the same way, pre decrement, post decrement. Negation. If all the given digits you wanted to make it like, if it is positive you want to make it negative, negative you want to make it as positive, go for minus or tilde symbol, anyone. So up to this clear all of you? If conditional statement.
Yep.
So we'll continue with the remaining statement.
Yep. Take it away, ma'am.
Sorry.
Good. We can go ahead.
So this is an if condition where condition is tested and the statements are executed only once. Okay. Like let us say if you wanted to perform some looping kind of thing, means that the number of statements are to be executed repeatedly. When we want any repetition, we have to go with the looping statements called as while condition. In looping statements we have 3 types: while, do while, and for. First is while. let's say x number is starting, first we have initialized and declared as its value as 1. Now I wanted to print x value till 10. So I should give a condition called, this is the syntax of while condition. Always there should be some initialization and there should be a final condition. Means its value should start from 1 and with 10. And now you wanted to print the value of x here. After printing this, you wanted to go for the next value of x. So give it as an increment. Means it should take the next value of x. First it is 1, so 1 is printed, it goes to 2, then it will check if it is true, again 2 will be printed. Like the till 10 it will print. When it will become 11, this condition fails, then it simply skip the block and it will come out. And now here anything is to be continued for your logic, you can continue. Should save it, right? First. There is a beginning problem here. Now just run it. Okay, it will repeat from 1 to 10. It means here the printing statement is only 1 we have written, right? System.out.println is only 1, but it is repeated for 10 times. So how it is getting repeated means, so because of our while condition. The number should begin with 1, number should end with 10. That is our final condition. And how to proceed for every time from 1 to the next number is based on your increment. If you want to perform the same thing in reverse order, you can say that 10 to 1. So it should be greater than or equal to 1 and it should be minus 9. Whatever may be the range and whatever the value, you can increment or otherwise you can decrement. If you change the values from like say 100, so it repeats from 100 to 1. Likewise, you can give any number. That is what your while condition says. So in while what happens, always your condition is checked once, then only it will enter into the loop. Suppose if the condition is failed in the beginning itself, it will never enter into the loop. And there is an alternate for this called as do while. This is called post conditional statement. Do statement, then finally condition. Okay. The logic, everything is same, but condition is given at the end of our block of statement, and do is given at the beginning. This is called as do while. That is preconditional, and this is post conditional. Logic is same. There is no change. So whichever suits to your application, you can implement either while or do while. Okay. And both are used for what? Like repetition purpose. Whenever a certain number of statements are to be repeatedly executed, we prefer while or do while. Like printing of mathematical tables, printing of like even numbers, odd numbers, prime numbers between from 100 to 500. Like that, everything is there. The same examples are provided here. You can see that. Right. Like do while. And one can be nested in the other. In do while, you can use if conditional statement. In if, you can use do while or while. Anything can be used. Okay. But the thing is, in while loop and do while loop, the length of your condition is very big. Means in one line you should initialize, in one line you should give final condition, and you should give increment and decrement. The same logic if you want to perform, okay, it can be simplified in a one line in Java for integer like x equal to 1, x less than or equal to 10, and x plus plus. Everything in a single line. And simply you can print number of x. That's it. Earlier there is 4 lines of code, now it is only 2 lines. Logic is same, output is same. So whenever you wanted to reduce the length, you go for conditional statement, in which initialization, declaration, final condition, increment and decrement, everything is given in a single line. Okay. So whenever there is many number of looping statements in your application, better you prefer while or conditional statement. That is the advantage of for. All are doing the same logic, while, do while and for, all are same. But you have to consider in what condition, in what situation, what statement is to be preferred. This is while. See, you can see the examples for while, do while and for loop. Printing numbers from 1 to 10. Suppose you wanted to here in while, do while and for conditional statement, there is a break statement. What is break? Let us see. Here you are printing like 1 to 10 unconditionally, you are simply printing 1 to 10. Right? So in between you wanted to say some condition that you want to print all numbers from 1 to 10, but there is a condition that if x is equal to, let us say 4, you wanted to unconditionally break the statement. Means it should come out. It will not look into the remaining number of statements. Means whenever it has become 4, it will stop. Not print 4. Whenever this kind of breaking is required, you can go for break. And break is used along with your for, if, while and do while. Everywhere you can apply. And observe here the difference. If you give break, it will stop there itself. But if you give continue, what happens? You observe. If you give continue, except that 4, means when it is 4, it will not print, but it will continue the remaining number of loops. That's the difference. So whenever you wanted to skip one current loop, then you go for continue. Whenever you wanted to exit from the loop, go for break. Got the difference? Like break and continue. Break means it will switch from the loop. Continue means it will skip the current loop and continue the remaining number of loops in the statement. So this while, do while and for conditional statement comes under looping statement, repetitive statement. And coming to, there are some multiple conditions in a single program with you. So how to write, how to handle the multiple conditions will see. That is called as switch conditional statement. Switch them. Nothing but let us say x value is 1. You may take that 1 value from runtime also, not always x is equal to. Now you can say that which x, if x value is 0, case 0, you wanted to print, means multiple conditions you wanted to add for your application. First condition is you wanted to print it as 0, and then immediately you have to add break so that it should not continue with the remaining case. Once it is satisfied for 0, it should go here, it should do that. Suppose There is another condition called 1. There is another condition called 2. There is another condition called. Likewise, you wanted to provide multiple conditions. Then instead of writing multiple if conditions, we can make use of this switch. If this is 1, you should print 1 and break. And if this is 2, you should print 2 and break. If it is 3, you print 3 and break. So it is more convenient when based on some variable multiple conditions are given. If switch is not there, we should write like if x is equal to 0, this is if x is equal to 1, if x is equal to 2. We need to write multiple if conditional statements. Instead of that, we are making use of this switch condition statement. Switch will be useful for providing multiple conditions for a single variable. And if all the given conditions are not satisfied, then we can give default. Means if x value is not 0, 1, 2, 3, then default statement should execute. Default we can say that wrong digit or wrong number. Like. For this break is not required, automatically it will come to the close. And switch will have its own block, begin and end is mandatory. Now see, I'll give x value as 9 and save it. So wrong digit. Let's say if I give 2, and we can give these values at runtime. Suppose if I give 0. So whenever this kind of multiple conditions are to be given, let's say you are performing like arithmetic operations, you will give some operator. If operator is plus, you want to do arithmetic operation addition. If it is minus, subtraction, asterisk, product. Likewise, multiple operations you wanted to provide in a single statement means better you choose which conditional statement. Which is used whenever there are more than 2 conditions. It is more convenient than if conditional statement. Clear? These all comes under conditional and control statements, and all these are similar to C language. There is no change at all. How we will use in C and C++ in the same way in Java. Okay. So today I'll share you this folder, basic folder, in which you find all the examples for if, operators, language basics, type conversion, while, do while, and for loops. You can practice these examples, and also you can start practicing with go through these PPTs, and any queries let me know. And the PPT wise, this is a language basics where like wherever you get classes, objects, methods and all, that we are going to discuss tomorrow. Don't get confusion with the methods, objects, okay, and classes. And coming to the first PPT, in introduction part, this is what we were discussing, like this is features, and we have seen this first program, right? So how to create a program and what would be the class name, what is the main method, what is the significance of main method, how to compile the program and how to run it. This is all the steps followed inside. First you will be writing the source code. This will be your .java file. This is your file. And you need to compile it by using JavaScript file name. So it gets compiled and it generates the bytecode. Bytecode will be like. And once if you run this by using JavaScript file name, you will get the result. Okay, what is a bytecode? I will show you. Every time you are creating the dot class file, right? Now if you observe here, you will be getting the dot classes here. Which demo you have created, right? So dir switch demo.java is your source, that class is your dot class file, which is called as a bytecode. And if you see that bytecode, you can't observe anything inside that. will be like it's a bytecode format. That is what this is the bytecode. That is what is its bytecode, which is the dot class type. And now once that is done, what is the main method and what is the significance of the print it? Okay, how we are getting output, this is it. And path is explained here. Every time we need to set this bin folder. Instead of setting this every time at the command prompt, we are setting it globally in my computer environment variable. That is a one-time process. Even if you restart your machine also, you need not set it again. Okay, and this is all like Java language basics like comments, packages, return, statements, blocks, classes, explained here. You can go through this. And what is a package? What is an interface? That all don't get confusion. What is this public static void main and all? We will be discussing in the tomorrow session. Just you go through the keywords and what are all the statements and what is the syntax. Okay, we were using system.out.println. What is the significance of that? Okay, what is Java runtime environment? We discussed, right? Like JRE contains like class loader, development kit, and kit compiler, and libraries and all. That is the Java runtime environment. And JDK. In JDK, we are using presently we are using only two tools. One is Java compilation, one is Java. There are some other tools we will come across in the coming session. Okay, that is all this. And then what are the steps involved in running the program? First, you will type the program, you will create a source code, then you will compile it, you will get a dot class type, then you will run it, you will get the output. Okay. What are all the tools you will use? Java C, Java. And Java H, Java Doc, that we will see later. What is Java API? Means it is like when you are going to work with like advanced classes. So far we are not using any predefined library function. So whenever we refer to that, we can refer to this documentation format, application programming interface. Using which we can know what is a class, in each class what are all the methods available, how many methods will be applicable for our program. Like this we can refer to. Java architecture, we have seen what is JDK and what is JRE. That is what source code, bytecode, JVM, operating system, and hardware. First, class file will be loaded, class loader, and will execute by JVM. And what is JVM library? JVM is nothing but a Java interpreter which is exactly responsible for the execution of your Java program. It is an interpreter. The end of this. These two PPT and that examples. Okay, for today's session, you can go through these examples. You can refer to this PPT, and also today whatever documents we have filed. We were doing with this example, right? This all the programs, whatever we were doing in our class, will be available in each demo. You can also go through that center. Okay. From the beginning, from first program onwards, hello one program, addition of the numbers, command line argument, then how to parse, what is typecasting, what is declaration, what are all the different data types, how we can perform implicit casting and explicit casting, and like few operators. This is all you can go through. And, any queries on this? Yeah, Veena and Deepesh.
Yeah, no question, Shipra. My only question is, are you gonna send us all these files? Like, how are you gonna get it?
Sorry?
How are we gonna get all these files? Are you gonna email it to us?
Yeah, sure. So
Okay.
I'll be making it as a zip file, and daily, day-wise, I will be sharing you a file. In that zip, it contains whatever we discussed for next day. And also tomorrow onwards, I'm going to give you the assignment.
Okay.
Today is the first section. I'm not going to give any assignment. But day 2 onwards, we will be having some assignment that will be described in some Word document. You can solve that and you can submit me later.
Okay.
Daily, I will be sharing you a folder, a zip file, and it is circulated for you already.
All right.
Okay. Any more queries?
I'm good.
Okay, then we will continue tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow, man. Thank you. All right.
What about other money, freedom, any queries?
I'm good too.
Any queries, please let me know immediately, or at least in the next session, so that we will be discussing the topics like energy. Suppose if you are not clear with any concept, again there will be a problem for the coming concept, right? So then and there we will clarify and we will.
All right.
Okay.
You send those in email, right?
Thank you.
Sorry.
Those PowerPoint and all those on email.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm good. Thank you. See you tomorrow, man.
Okay. What, Veena? How about you? Okay, then we'll continue tomorrow.
All right, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Just provide your mail ID.
I'm gonna type my email address in the chat box.